guys? Today's question and answer, and I got a really beautiful, very honest and vulnerable inquiry from someone that I know. My life is not what I expected or wanted. However, every once in a while, I let in happiness. Unplanned, I follow the road until I slip and fall into my pity pit. Who of us cannot relate to that? Even you. Sometimes it takes weeks to climb out. Sometimes it does. I recognize that I am feeling helpless and hopeless. That's totally fine. You're totally fine right where you're at. That is the most important thing I want you to understand right now, that where you are at is perfect. And let me give you a story to help you understand this. When I was playing video games for 12 hours a day and then sleeping for the other 12, aside from the time I wasn't stuffing myself full of food and ice cream, right? I had a teacher who was a Tibetan monk who said, he didn't tell me, okay, you have to stop playing your video games, you have to work out, you have to do this, you have to set a schedule. He says, if you're going to play that game, I want you to play fully. And as I would progress through the game, he would send me gifts to commemorate each level of the game that I completed. He never tried to tell me to be somewhere that I'm not. He didn't try to change my behavior. What he did was have me connect to my essential nature, instead of trying to manhandle myself into behaving differently. And because he did that, I learned about leadership, and I embodied more self-esteem because I created accomplishments through the activities I was already doing. And that's what I want to encourage you most. First and foremost, do not judge yourself for how you're feeling or where you're at or what activities that you're doing, because the activities can quickly be turned into sources of inspiration and connection to your essence. Let me give you an example. I still watch plenty of TV. I happen to love American Idol, and I love America's Next Top Model. And here's why. Because you watch people start from where they're at, and they take risks and they take challenges, and they grow and they embody who they were when they started. And it's a gradual process, and you see them making mistakes, you see their hopes, you see their downsides, you see all the human elements interact in that. So I invite you to take whatever TV you're watching or whatever activity and see the inspiration in it. Find something of value for yourself in it that you can feel, and fill your beingness with hope and with inspiration. She further writes, cannot channel the thoughts and remove the blockage, and anger remains with me. Feel like a fraud. When we get depressed, we've lost our power. So, of course you feel like a fraud because you don't feel authentic. I want you to express whatever is authentic for you at the anger level, or hatred, or rage, or revenge, or jealousy. If you start there and just be real, I promise you will automatically feel better when you get real with where you're at now today. You will no longer feel like a fraud because you're being real and truthful. When we feel like a fraud is when we try to overlay platitudes that are too far out of reach for where we're currently at. But if you start where you're at, I promise that you will move up the emotional scale from anger to some kind of discouragement or blame. Blame is better than anger. Blame is better than feeling numb or feeling nothing or feeling like a fraud. But you won't stay there, but you fully feel it. But then you can have stuff like feeling content once you feel your energy, feel your body from moving up the scale in that way. You can kind of start feeling content, and then you can open up to some kind of hopefulness, some kind of inspiration, some kind of, well, I can see more now than I could, even maybe just a few minutes ago being in that anger. Or maybe even yesterday I was in anger, or however long it takes you. But be okay with where you're at, and be honest with where you're at, and tell the truth. Feel your feelings, and it will help you get to the next level. Now, if you do want to have some activity, again, I would not try to set a workout schedule. Well, let me tell you, this is what I do. This is what works for me. I could not set a schedule. All I could do was go once a month to begin with. Just that's it. That's all I could do, once a month. And that went on for many, many, many months. And then it became twice a month. But I want to encourage you to start something at least once a month of some kind of yoga. I did Dawn Yoga, which is a Korean yoga, which helped to awaken my body, because our authentic feelings come from feeling our body, which eventually will lead us to our joy, but that joy has got to be felt in the body. It's not a mental concept, it's an experience of our true essence. And that essence gets locked up in a body that is depressed and hopeless. And then you have no access to it. So try some kind of yoga, because yoga is different than running or lifting weights or doing some kind of exercise that depletes you. Yoga integrates you. Yoga helps to bring alive your life force energy and clean the channels out to allow it to run through and course through your body so you can feel your aliveness. I now go to yoga mostly 4 times a week because I just want to. It's not hard for me. It's a craving. It's a desire. My body wants to feel that aliveness. And then sometimes I won't even go for a whole week. Maybe it's time for my body to rest and recover. But I keep a very natural flow and follow what is going on inside. You need to know your purpose. And I know you personally. And I know what happens when you get around people and be around people. People feel better. People feel accepted. People feel entertained. They feel heard. You have those special qualities that you need to experience and express. Otherwise, you will be depressed. Depression is a natural result of unexpressed essence. When you go to these meetings that you're going to go to the party, see yourself in that light of bringing your gift to these people. And if you do that, you will see the gift being received by them. And I bet if you will also hear back that the gift was received verbally from them, if you go with enough intention to see your gift being given. Lastly, I want to know, how long has it been since you've cried? I don't mean in self-pity. I don't mean crying in a way of wallowing, but I mean slobber down the nose, full, dropping to the bottom of your heart and letting go and crying as if someone had died. When we finally sob, and you already know this, when we sob and we drop down to the bottom and we finally admit our loneliness or our desperation, something changes and it makes room, because we stop holding on and we let go, and some kind of love or wholeness now can come in to fill us, some kind of truth of essence. So that's how I've lost weight. That's how I have found whatever measure of contentment that I do have inside, and my connection with others is through connecting with my essence, where I'm at, not trying to be somewhere that I'm not, and moving through whatever is true. I love you very much. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for this question.